Perfect. Yeah, crazy story, right? So looking back, yeah, it was because of me, Matt. No, I'm just kidding. You guys were going to meet anyway. Those things are destined to happen sometimes. But you know, I've known Jeff and Melissa for a very long time. I've known the Potters for a long time. And before I even get started in any of the stuff that we're going to go over tonight, you guys. First thing, obviously, I hope you and yours, everybody is safe, everybody is healthy, everybody's keeping 6 feet away, even from family. Right in the same house is crazy what's going on. But, you know, this window of time that we're in, right? It kind of suits what we do. And we don't want this to happen, but we have a business that can build and grow, and we can take care of ourselves and our families during like none of us have been through this. I'm 55 years old. I haven't been through this. My parents haven't been through this. You haven't been through this. Your kids haven't been through this. So how great that we have something that we can do to take care of ourselves and our families and build something during just that, you know, we've heard all the words, essential services, an unprecedented time. This has never happened before, and all these crazy things, right? So I'm going to give you some stuff tonight. I hope that will put things in perspective. I hope maybe a few tools that you guys can use, but I just want you to know how much respect I have for both sets of RVP couples that are running this event. You know, I'll tell you, I actually had a chance to see Ken and Susie. I was out at their house a year or two ago, and we did a leadership over there. And I got to see them go through what they had to go through, being successful professionals. Susie and I have a little bit in common with, you know, the commercial stuff, but I got to see them go through and grow through what they had to do in this business to become regional vice presidents. I saw Jeff and Melissa Street go from regional vice president to regional vice president platinum to now Circle of Champions member. And now the company entrusts the entire training for North America to Jeff and Melissa to run that thing every single week. So I'm just letting you know this, that sometimes familiarity breeds contempt, meaning we get too close to people. We sometimes take them for granted. Any moms on the call? Any moms on the call? You run the house, you have your job, you're doing everything, you figure out dinner, and you know where your husband's lost sock is. I mean, it's like, we get it. And it's important to know that I don't take leaders for granted. I don't take leadership for granted. And like I said, hopefully we'll give you some stuff in the next little window of time that I get to be with you that you can use in building your business within their businesses. But I would tell you, please utilize them, utilize their knowledge, their years of experience. And here's why. They've already made the mistakes that you might make. They've already tried the things that you might try. They know what works, they know what doesn't, and believe it or not, their entire goal is to help you get to their position faster than they did. I fell in love with that concept when I really understood it, that the leaders that I am working with wanted me to succeed faster than they did. And I just think that that's a remarkable atmosphere and an environment that comes from the co-founders on down. So you guys, I like to have a little bit of fun. I hope that, look, you guys, it's the Friday afternoon, evening on the East Coast. So, you know, are you guys cool if we have like a little bit of fun? Are you good? Okay, good. So long as I get the thumbs up from the two squares that are bosses here. I don't know if Jeff's on, but I see obviously Melissa and I see the Potters. So I want to show you guys something just really quick, just kind of before we get started. Okay. So bear with me. By the way, the fact that I can bring up a PowerPoint on an Apple while on Zoom and share my screen with you should get every single one of you total confidence that you can become a regional vice president, because I am the least technical person on this entire Zoom, 100% guaranteed. And thank you all for not agreeing with me like right away. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Here we go. I'm going to show you something just to get started. Okay. So check this out. We are going to screenshot it if you want. If you don't worry about it. I think the one reason people resist change is because they focus on what they have to give up instead of what they have to gain. Right? I have to give up a Saturday morning on Zoom, and I have to give up, you know, when we were meeting together with people, when we were going to meetings, and they focus on what they have to give up instead of what they have to gain. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But it's all perspective, right? You know, now look, you guys, I understand that people get signed up in this business we sign up in this business. Yeah, we want to make some extra money, but that's not the bigger issue. The bigger issue is, why did you sign up? What would you do? And by the way, if you're an up and coming leader, here's what you would ask the new person on your team. What would you do if you had more time and more money? What would that mean for you? What would that look like for you? Now, I'm not asking you to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a therapist or any of those things. I'm simply saying that I think most people would be doing something different if time and money wasn't necessarily an issue. And when that becomes the goal, then they're not worried about what they have to give up, because what they have to gain is so much bigger and so much better. And in that conversation with someone, you got to give them some perspective on that. Because initially, what do people think? I'm so busy, husband this, wife this, kids that, world shut down, starting to open up. I'm going to talk about that at the end. You guys are in a really good spot right now with what it is that we do as the world is starting to open up. But when you realize that when people resist things, it's because they're thinking about what they have to lose instead of what they have to gain. So we want to talk about the things that they have to gain, but it comes from perspective, right? So check this out. Here we go. Check out these buildings. Right? So I saw this and I was blown away. This could be Vienna. This could be any place in the world. It looks kind of like Austrian, German sort of thing. So I want to give you some perspective on these buildings. So I want you guys to watch the screen for a second, because it's all about perspective. Being on a leadership call on Friday night with your RVPs here, this is about gaining perspective on the business. So check out these buildings. Ready? Take a look at this. That's what it is. That's what you were looking at. That's what it is. So someone took the side of a building, and what did they do? People are like, what? Wait a minute. Go back. That's the building. That's what someone saw. Someone had a vision that most people wouldn't have. So what's one of the things that maybe you should consider? What's your vision? What's your vision with what you're doing with ACN? What perspective can you bring to it? Now, look, someone had to teach them how to paint. That's the system. Someone probably had someone that taught them how to paint. There's your RVPs. But they created an entirely different perspective from something that looked like that and ended up like that. What if this is your business and that's you looking at you in the mirror? You have one, by the way, your entire global organization is you, right? You in the mirror. But you have a vision that becomes global. Now, did that take some work to create that? Absolutely. Did it take some planning? Absolutely. Did it take a well thought out system on what was going to be painted first to create this? No question about it. So now, there they go. The one on the left and the one on the right. That is the same building. So I posted this last Saturday. You have coaches here, right? And everybody has ideas on how to do ACN, how to talk to their people. Like, look, Melissa, like my guy, this isn't going to work for him. Like, I know how to talk to my guy. Here's what I tell people all the time. And by the way, I heard this years ago on a recording that Pat Mazur did. I heard this years ago. He's like, look, what he was saying is the leaders have already been through it. So here's what he said. When you go out and do it your way and you don't get the results you want, come back. This is exactly how he said it. Let you know how many times I listened to it. He goes, come back to the system and you're going to have a lot of success. That's what he said on the recording. Come back to the system. You're going to have a lot of success. So what I want to do is give you some leadership. And I don't care if you're an executive team, if you're a customer qualified executive team leader, regional director, even RVP on the call. Hopefully you'll be able to take something from this. But I would tell you guys, I love this screenshot. I would use that screenshot because everybody has ideas. But when they come back to the system, just remember what your coach told you to do the first time, and you're going to be just fine. So I'm going to break out of this screen sharing, and now we are just. Let me cancel this, and we are just going to have a conversation. So. First thing to understand, I think, is this, you guys, is, by the way, total side note, I'm a note taker. I've been doing this for well over a decade. I have stacks of yellow legal pads, top to bottom, flip the page. And you want to know why I use yellow legal pads? Y'all know which ones I'm talking about? I use those yellow legal pads because I can get more information on each page. That was it. I had this like cool little leather thing, and I put the yellow legal pad in, and I was like writer's cramp. at a national writer's cramp, at a Friday leadership, at a Saturday training, I would be taking notes because I could always go back to those notes. And here's what I was taught early on. I want you guys to think about this. Right? I had a guy on my team years ago, and we were at a national training, and I don't even know who was training. It doesn't matter. They're all amazing. And it was some unbelievable training. And I was a team coordinator, regional director at the time. And I'm watching this training, and I am blown away. I am watching this training like a 6-year-old going to their first movie. I'm like this. I'm watching, I'm taking notes, I'm watching, I'm taking notes. And I run into one of my, here we go, one of my quote unquote up and coming leaders. I want you guys to see what he did. I was like, dude, what is up? He goes, what's up? I'm like, oh my God, freaking out. Was that unbelievable? That training was unbelievable. And he goes, it was great. I'm like, right? And I said, it was unbelievable, right? And he goes, yeah. And I said, were you taking notes? And this is what he did. I said, did you get all the notes? And he goes, I'm like, actually, at first I said, what does that mean? And he goes, I got it all up here. And I went, you got that whole training up there? Guess what I knew as a young up and coming leader? 100% no way he was going to last. Because, write this down, you guys. How you do one thing is how you do everything. How someone does one thing is how they do everything. So I knew this guy's committing a multi-million-dollar life-changing financial freedom business. Look, y'all agree with me that like when we go to the grocery store, we can't remember the 6 things that our wife or husband told us to get. We're texting, well, hey, did you say get the white one or the big one? Did you get the large one or with, pasteurize it? We don't even remember that. And this guy's going to remember an entire training and commit that to memory. Give me a break. So one of the things that separates leaders from non-leaders in our business, I think, is how well you know the business. Well, guess what? You have opportunities like this. I mean, I was on a little bit early and I saw Melissa going through some, it looked like a survey or whatever. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable that you guys have access to this kind of leadership and this kind of development. So I'm going to give you guys some notes to take down, and hopefully you're taking notes. By the way, if you're that person, just to tell you right now, if you're that person that was like my old rep, and I almost just said his name, and I'm not going to say it. But if you're that guy, just don't let me know that. I don't want to know. Please don't do this. Don't do this on the call. Right, don't do that. Okay, cool. So here's the question. What business are we in? You got to know your business. What business are we really in? Energy, services, television, internet, cell phone. We have this new unbelievable partnership with AT&T. What business are we really in? We're in the dream business. You are in the business of hope and opportunity. That is the business you're in. The vehicle are all those services. But make no mistake about it, I don't think anyone goes to bed at night like this. Honey, I am just so excited. I am freaking out over that 50 megabyte internet. Nobody's saying that. I don't think anybody's saying that. I think what people are freaking out about is every single person we know has every single one of these services, and we have a chance to get home. We have a chance to raise our kids. We have a chance to get out of debt. We have a chance to pay off the student loan. We have a chance to retire our parent. We have a chance to save up for that other property. We have a chance to take that dream vacation. We have a chance to make up for some lost time because of the opportunity that we're in. Well, to me, you guys, that's hopes and dreams, right? That's hope and opportunity. That's the business that we're in. Right? So let me just give you guys some perspective, just like that building, so you'll understand why I kind of get worked up about this particular topic. When I was introduced to this business, I was extremely busy. I was 37 years old. I'd never done network marketing before. This is the first company I'd ever done and looked at, signed up for. Maybe people didn't think very highly of me because I didn't get invited to very many business things. They're like, he's behind the bar, he's slinging drinks, he ain't gonna make a difference. In retrospect, I was not a very highly recruited individual. Anyway, that's another topic. So check this out. Back in the day, the bar business is a really late night business, still is. That one job wasn't bringing in enough money for me to take care of my family the way I wanted to. So I got a second job in the golf business, Well, the bar business is late and the golf business is early. So I became an absentee parent. I was literally never home. And I'm out here for the entertainment business. I moved Wisconsin to New York City to study acting. And I moved out here. I was working out there. I moved out here. And a lot of us take that path. And I've been very, very, very lucky, right? I've been very lucky. I've worked a lot, done some TV shows and commercials, but never enough not to have those side jobs because my priority is my family. That's when ACN comes. And I'm like, when am I going to find time to do this? Like, when am I don't have an hour in the day. Can any of you relate to that? Yeah, it's just, we're so busy being busy. And I did not have an exit strategy. I did not have a way to get my time back. So when someone asked me to take a look at this and I saw it, I mean, back in the day, all we had when I got signed up was long distance home phone service and pagers. Not too many people are rolling with a pager these days. I mean, you're either a doctor or you're a doctor. That's another conversation, right? Like, you're not doing like technology has changed and things have changed, right? But we're in the middle of this. So check this out. We are not in the business of those services. That is our vehicle. We're in the business of helping somebody find and get and achieve their dreams, their goals, their desires, the important things of life, right? To create a quality of life. That's what's so valuable about our business, is that we have a chance through this to be able to help people realize those things. So check this out. Understand, make sure that you remember that the services, the system, the comp plan, the world headquarters, all that stuff, that all is the infrastructure for us to build dreams. And that is us being in the business of hope and opportunity. So here's something that I want all of you to do, regardless of your position. You got to define some goals, right? And there's two sets of goals, aren't there? There's short-term goals and long-term goals. And if somebody doesn't have a goal, like, I'm going to do this by this time, right? I think we're missing the point. Like, we want to have some, look, the comp plan is set up to achieve goals. Customer qualified, executive team leader, regional director, regional vice president, senior vice president, right? Those are designed for you to hit attainable, achievable goals. So why not put a time frame on it? That's what I would do. Put a time frame on it. Look, you could be on this call and you're an executive team leader, and I have no idea how big your business is or isn't, but you could call the streets, you could call the Potters and say this: done. I am over this. I will be a regional director by New Year's Day. Mark my words. And here's the key part. Help me set a plan. And all you do is just turn to your leaders and say, just help me set a plan. Here's my goal. I am in. Tell me what to do. Tell me where to go. Tell me what to get. Tell me what to buy. Tell me what to sign up for. Tell me what event to be at. Tell me what to do. I will do it. I will be that story. And let me tell you something. A mind made up is very powerful. You make up your mind to do that. You guys, mark my words. Remember, I told you this, that when your goal is true and you're willing to work, the universe will conspire to support you. The universe will conspire to support you. What does that look like? That looks like all of a sudden, the world is starting to open up and you've made that decision. So the decision comes first. You've made that decision, and sure enough, you're in line at a Subway. I'm just telling you guys. You've made the decision first. You're in line at a Subway, and the person in front of you says something like, you know what, I cannot believe this. I was working 50 hours a week. I'm doing 15 hours a week. If I don't find something to do from home, like, I have to find something. And that person's going to be standing right in front of you. Now the question is, are you ready for that conversation? I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But I'm letting you know that's how this works. That's how the world works. So you need to be ready when the opportunity presents itself. So how do you increase your chances to succeed in this, regardless of your position? How do you succeed, or how do you increase your chances for success? And I think there's two things. Because not the company. Company's great. It's not the leadership. You've got them on this Zoom. I mean, from my understanding of it, you guys do this like every week. This is awesome. So there's two things that I think are going to increase your chances for success. Number one are your skills, and number two is your effort. Your skills and your effort. Effort without skills can be frustrating. Skills with no effort, that's like, for any of you that I like a lot of sports. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I'm just going to pick a name that a lot of people know. Some people won't, but a lot of you guys will know. in baseball, Darryl Strawberry. Darryl Strawberry back in the day was one of the most naturally gifted baseball players any of us have ever seen on the planet. And it was potential unrealized. All kinds of things happen. It's not about what he did. It's just simply saying that you can have all the talent in the world. If it's not applied, it doesn't matter, right? But if you put in effort and you understand that your skills can build, you guys, think about this. Why do they do this on Friday night? Why do they do this on Friday night with you guys? To build your skill set, to build your understanding, to build your confidence. And by the way, that's a circle. You know, your confidence increases. You're going to do more. You're going to do more. You're going to get results. You get more results. You're going to end up doing more. And your business starts to grow. And lo and behold, you guys, I promise you this will happen. As you develop as a leader, what will happen is this. When you start doing the right things in your business without anybody knowing what you're doing, magically, someone else in some other part of your organization is going to do the same thing. I'm going to give you an example. You are at 40 customer points and you go, you know what? That's it. I'm done. I'm getting to 75 points and I will be at 75 points by the end of this month. Mark my words, someone else on your team will as well. And here's what's crazy. You didn't even talk about it. Why does that work? How does that work? I have absolutely no idea. That's out of my pay range, but it does. It happens. When you do stuff, it's amazing how it starts to happen in other parts of your organization as well. So now check this out. You have your skills and you have your effort. So I want to give you guys something that I remembered from years ago. And here's what it is. Do not expect professional money with amateur skills. Don't expect to be paid like a professional if you're running around like an amateur. Now, if you're brand new, guess what? You're an amateur. And guess what? That's great. You know the funny thing about our business, you guys? Do y'all ever have people, especially for some of the newer people, you ever have people that you talk to and they want to grill you on everything? All you did is ask them to come look at a business. I mean, you open and making extra money and they're, what about this? And what about that? And how does this work? And how does that work? And have you made any money yet? And da, 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 da. And you're like this. Well, to tell you the truth, I've been in for like 9 minutes. You're like grilling me and I'm new. Like, give me a break. But I am working with someone who has all the answers. So you know the greatest thing I can say to a new person? Here's my advice for a new person. Be new. It only gets weird when you try not to be new and you're new. And you try to answer all these questions and it's like a bag of potato chips, right? You're new, you're talking to your friend and they ask a question. You're like, I know that one. And it's like a little angel and a little devil, right? And the little angel is like, don't answer. Get them on the phone with the streets. Get them on the phone with the potters. And the little devil's like, you know the answer to that one. You got this. And you're like, and you go, well, how does the company work? Well, it's awesome. It's like residual income and you get to build a team, but I'm really not the person to explain it to you, but you answered a question. And here's the problem. Questions are like potato chips. You cannot eat one. I don't care who you are. You are lying to me if you're saying you can eat one. You are lying to me. You cannot. You cannot have an open bag of potato chips and eat one. And if you can, you're simply doing it to try to prove me wrong. But when I'm not looking, you're going to go back for a handful. I already know it and you know it. So you can't get into that question and answer session with them. You got to follow the system and be new. Rely on the leaders. You guys, I have this so ingrained in my leaders' heads that even if they're regional directors, if they have a personal relationship with the person that they're talking to, they need to get that person on the phone with me because that person doesn't know them as having any success here. The greatest asset that you have, your coach, your Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're the who has all who can mind meld the people that you have on your list. That's the leaders that are on this call. You have to let them do what they want to do, which is build you a business. So now we have your skills and we have your effort. Don't expect professional money with amateur skills. So what are we doing here? We're trying to build our skill set. Right? Look at the RVPs and the SVPs in this organization. If you guys go onto ACN Compass and you look at the production charts, you guys are all over the place. They're all over. You have documented leadership and your job is simply to get good at teaching people how to get themselves out of the way and get them on the phone or on a Zoom with the leaders that you're working with. So I'm going to tell you guys something, right? So, and I might have done this at the pot. I was asking the Potters if now I may have done this at the house, but you know, by the way, if I did this when I was at the Potter's house, you guys are going to have to suffer through the next like 2 minutes. And hopefully it won't bore you. So I told you guys that I'm a sports fan, and I love coaches because coaches are in the business that we're in. See, if somebody wants to do ACN and they want to do well, you are assuming at one point that you are going to go from player to player coach. So this was, I love football, and I'm watching this college football game. And at the time, the coach of Florida State University is a guy named Jimbo Fisher. And his team was getting crushed. And I mean crushed at halftime. And you guys ever see a coach where they're forced to do an interview and they're like, they are gritting their teeth. They're like, get me away from this camera and this microphone as fast as I possibly can get away from them. But he couldn't. He has to, they have to do a quick little interview. And he's getting our butts kicked and whatever. And yeah, we're going to go in there. We're going to, hey, coach, you're going to rile them up. Well, we're going to talk. Right? Well, okay, so probably what happened. He went in there, chairs are flying, whatever the case may be. But I want you to hear what he said when Florida State, they were down like, I want to say 27, 28 points. I mean, like it was a big deficit at halftime. And they came out in the second half a different team. They were a different team. Like I'm talking like A to Z. So I want you to imagine this. They're done. They come back. They win this game like in the last 60 seconds. They come back, win the game. And here's what he said. I have this in multiple notebooks. So I want you to hear this because this applies to what we do. Here's what he said. The same interviewer came up afterwards. Coach, what happened? Unbelievable. This is amazing comeback. What happened? And here's what he said. He said, I want you to know something. He said, efforts get acknowledged. Results get rewarded. I was like, what? Like this dude was talking to me about ACN. Efforts get acknowledged, results get rewarded. So when you guys call the Potters or the Streets, you say, hey, listen, I did this, I did that. They're going to acknowledge their effort. You guys know that because it does take effort. But understand, you and I are in the business of getting a result, and results get rewarded. So how do you feel if you're the coach, you're on here right now, and you're an up-and-coming leader in the organization, and you start coaching some of your team through some of this stuff? You start coaching them, and then one of your team members has a result. And I wish I could say everybody's name. I'll pick on Steven. Hey, Steven, what's up? Is it Steven? I hope. Did I get it right? Stefan? Is it Steven? Okay, cool. So, it's funny. Okay, cool. So Steven, I don't know what position you're at in the company. I don't know where you're at in your organization, but I do know this. If you help someone get a promotion, how do they feel about you? Great. Now they probably already feel it, but now you're documented, you're proven, you got them a result. So that was one of the things he said in the interview. He said, efforts get acknowledged, results get rewarded. Well, guess what? Look at the charts. This rock star, you guys are all over the charts. Results get rewarded. So now here's the second one, okay? Here's a big one. This is all about what these two couples do on Friday nights for you guys. Check this out. Here's the second thing that he said. So they were going on with the interview, and they're like, well, we've never seen a comeback like this. I mean, this was almost a historic comeback for your university. And here's what he goes, did you have wasn't your team ready? Wasn't your team prepared? And here's what he said, and it was great. He said, so good. This is so good. He goes, you don't win because you want to. You win because you train to. Do you guys agree those are completely different things? They're completely different. I mean, who in the heck, I almost said a bad word. Who in the heck does not sign up in ACN? Like nobody signs up in ACN to do this. I'm going to be CQ. And when I get to CQ, that's it. Nobody signs up to do that. Everybody signs up with the idea of getting to these advanced positions and building a business that can create a lifestyle and all these kind of things. So when you really understand the philosophy of you don't win because you want to, well, shoot, everybody wants to win. You don't win because you want to, you win because you train to. Guess what? That's Friday night with your leaders. That's doing more than the average person is willing to do. So you guys end up with a lifestyle that is different than the average person has. So here's the next thing. You guys know that you can be a part-time professional at ACN. So then people go like this, oh, Dean, this is all great. And I'm saying this to you guys because I hear this in my team. It's great and everything, but what's the number one thing, truthfully, you guys, what is the number one thing that my time, got to understand how valuable my time is. I don't have a lot of time. I do not have a lot of time. Like, we hear this conversation over and over and over again. Can I just let you guys in on a secret? Like, let me see how many pages we have. Like, we have 3 pages of people, and I want to make sure. Got Mike Farley. I want to make sure I get some people's names. Michelle Sullivan, what's up? Peter Walton, how are you, sir? I'm not trying to exclude anyone. I just want you guys to know that I see you. Let me tell you something about people's time. I'm going to let you in on a secret. Everybody's got time right now. Everybody's got time right now. So listen, here's what I tell people. Don't get it twisted. This is not a time issue. This is a value issue. This is not a time issue. It's a value issue. You know why? You guys, I learned this years ago from my mom. People will always do what they value. They will do what they value. What's our job? To create value in the opportunity that we have. Right? So the question is, how do you become a part-time professional? Well, you got to have skills, right? That's part of what, like, that's part of what I love about what you guys are doing on a Friday night. You know, by the way, water runs downhill, right? I mean, I could look all the way up. I could look all the way up this group to Pat and Mike. I could go all the way up this group, Ken and Susie, Jeff and Melissa, all the way up to Pat. Like, you guys have a system that is so proven. How great that you don't have to come up with anything. That's been done. Don't sweat it. They got it. They got it. So now let's talk about leadership. So you sign up in ACN, you're in, you're willing to be that part-time professional. You're willing to do things when most people won't. You're that person. By the way, you guys, gosh, if we were unmuted, we'd be having so much fun right now because you guys would be able, I could hear you. Check this out. You guys ever have these people that join your team, or they sign up, or they're about to sign up, or they're about to hit enter and whatever, and they go like this? They go, Dean, you got to understand something about me. You got to understand something. If I do something, I do it 100%. I do it 110. So just understand there's an issue here because my time. See, I don't sign up in anything if I don't do it 100%. You want to know something? They're lying. Give me 10%. We're good. You give me 10%, I'll make up 90%. We're good. To get your ego out of the way, if you can fit through the door, don't let it hit you on the way out. Like, you guys know those people? It's crazy. I don't need somebody to give me 100%. In fact, please don't. I don't want that. Give me 100% with the 10% time that we set aside. What does that mean? If we have an hour, shut everything else down for 1 hour. Guess what we can do? Get you customer qualified, help you get a bonus, create a story, make a few phone calls, invite a few people to a private business Zoom. You are off and running, done. You're out the door. You're going to get to the kids. Your leader's working with their next person. That's how to do this. But most people don't understand that. So just know, by the way, on a total side note, when I have so many thoughts. When somebody looks at you and goes like this, when somebody looks at you and goes like this, they go, hey, and now look, I should have said this in the beginning. So we have to rewind this whole thing and take it from the top. If I say anything to you guys that does not fall in line with Jeff and Melissa and the Potters or the Mazers, if I'm saying something to you, and you can play this for Pat and Mike, if I say something that does not work with what they're teaching you, you need to delete my message and listen to them, right? But I kind of don't think that's going to happen because guess what? I've seen those guys train on the national stage just like you, and I'm taking notes, just like hopefully you are. Anyway, so so you have a person and they look at you and they go like this. And I'm really curious to see if anybody's had this person in a PBR or a PBZ or a living room or a computer, and they do this. They go, all right, look, I'm in. I'm in. Sign me up. I'm good to go. But I got to ease into this thing. I got to take it easy. You understand? I got a lot going on. I'm going to ease into this little by little. There needs to be a 3-alarm fire going off in here. And this is what the message is. This person is going to be a ton of work. This is going to be a ton of work. Like this is going to be a mess. Like that's what I want you to think. Now, use your leader to redirect the conversation and show them how we can have success very quickly. You guys, I'm sure you've taken this note down, but just know this. It is easier to do ACN fast than it is to do it slow. It is easier to do ACN fast than it is to do it slow. One of my mentors, Efren Tejada, he said this for years, and I believe this wholeheartedly. Success loves speed. Success loves speed. Right? So we want a team of leaders. You want a team of leaders. Check this out. Here's a really good question. Are leaders made or are leaders found? So I want you guys to think about this for just a hot second. Are leaders made or are leaders found? My perspective is leaders are found. Leadership is developed. Here's what that means. In my opinion, if someone has had success in another industry, there is a very reasonable chance, not a guarantee, but a very reasonable chance that they're going to have success in ACN. Why? Because they're doing the basic things that are required to have success regardless of their industry. So regardless of industry, if someone's having success, hey, Poppy, what's up? If someone has success in another industry and they get involved with ACN, it is very reasonable to think that they would have success here. Why? Because those core things are the commitment, how you treat others, following through, treating something seriously. All those things apply, regardless of what your industry is in. So I think leadership is developed. So again, I'm going to go back to something like tonight. Because I wouldn't take this stuff for granted. And I am not talking about me. I'm talking about everything that happened before I even get on this call. How great is it to know that the leaders that you have are consistent? They're going to be here. So that's awesome. So do you guys ever have those people that say this? They look at you. They maybe they're not having necessarily the success that they want in ACN, and that could be some of you guys. By the way, that could be me. Like we all have levels to achieve and goals to go after. But I want you to think about this. You ever have people look at you and go like this? You have a conversation with them, and you're talking from the heart, and it's like, is this important to you? I mean, is success in ACN important for you? Like your goals, the reasons why when we first launched your business, and they look at you and they go, yeah, this is super important to me. Well, I didn't see you on the Zoom Friday night. Well, I had that. Well, I didn't see you on the Saturday training. Melissa and Jeff have been hosting that for like 9 years. Right. I didn't see you at the thing. Now, if I'm talking to some of you, that's kind of my job because I want to help you succeed. So here's what I know. Very simple. When you have a conversation with someone, you can say, and certainly the leaders can say, don't tell me what's important to you. Show me your calendar and I'll tell you what's important to you. Oh, beach, didn't miss that. Oh, barbecue, oh, didn't miss that. Right? Netflix and chill. Well, by the way, watch this. How's this for people now during this quarantine? Here's their calendar. Ready? Netflix and chill, Netflix and chill, Netflix and chill. Oh my God, I found the greatest show. You hear people talk about a show like, this show is so good. Oh my God, if they talked about their ACN business like that, they'd already been promoted 3 times. People get more excited, and I've worked on some of those shows. People get more excited about a show that's never going to do anything for them, but an hour of escape. I hope they become that excited about their lives and their families and what they can do. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, so a couple more thoughts. And by the way, I don't know where Melissa or Potters, how am I on time? Am I good? You tell me. And don't be shy. Nobody's saying anything.
Go, keep going. We love
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. But it's really funny, you guys. You don't know, but I might be starting to get a whole bunch of private messages. So what's one of the things about network marketing and ACN that separates us from like that traditional business or traditional job? And what it is it's our opportunity and ability to duplicate ourselves. We're in a business of duplication. And that's one of the reasons why calls like this exist, is to get the information out to a lot of people at the same time so it duplicates, right? When I do presentations, I use Arthur Blank as an example all the time. Arthur Blank is the founder of Home Depot. And Arthur Blank does not work at every Home Depot, but there's thousands of Home Depots. But every little nail, hammer, piece of wood, glue gun, apron, goggles, stain, screwdriver, there's a little tiny piece that he's making. And you want to know why? He has a duplicatable system that works, right? So understand, in our business, I believe that if something doesn't duplicate, it serves you no real purpose. If something doesn't duplicate, if somebody comes in and they're the only one that can do what they do because of who they are, right? Inherently, that's a little bit of a problem in our business. You want things that can duplicate out. I'll give you an example. For all of you on this call right now, Charles Andrews. Charles, if every single person on this call was on your team learning the same system, would you be happy? Oh yeah, everybody would be happy. Right? See, if there's only one square, you lose, because that means everything goes through you. When you have 71 people on a leadership on Friday night, well, now you're onto something. So here's a good goal. I'm going to do whatever I can to get people on my team to qualify to be on this leadership. That's what I would do. And by the way, guess how many times I share notes with people? Never. Not unless I'm training a group like this. Never. Somebody looks at you and says, let me see your notes. Absolutely freaking not. You're not seeing my notes. Qualify so you can take your own notes. People, does that make sense? Like, you guys, I hope it does. Like, I learned that early on. No, I'm not giving you my notes. Can I borrow your book? No loaning books. No loaning books. Get your own book. So you can highlight it. So you can make the notes that the things that are important to you. The things that I highlight may not even register with you. What does this do? It starts to create ownership of everybody's business. That's one of the things that this organization has been so good at for so many years, is developing independent leaders that can build their businesses. You could take any one of the leaders in this rockstar organization, take them, but you guys watch this. You could take them and you could drop them into a city where nothing's going on. So I want you to hear me. You could take a leader out of this organization, drop them into a city where there's nothing going on. Give it 6 months, there'd be a meeting there. I'm talking about nothing going on. Give it 6 months, there'd be a meeting there. Why? Because it doesn't matter where they are. It's the system. And it's getting really good at the things that serve and feed the system. So moving on. So understand the thing about duplication. This is important, is that when you're building a business and you want duplication, understand duplication is blind. Duplication does not hold an opinion about what you're doing. Duplication, look, what you do, what you say, how you act, how you show up will duplicate, good or bad, right or wrong, effective or ineffective. Duplication is blind. What you do will duplicate in your organization, good or bad, right or wrong, effective or ineffective. So what do we want to do? We want to duplicate effective things to help new people have success, create a success story, right? So when you understand teaching duplication, what's the best way to do that? The buddy system. How do you do that? When we get to see each other again and we actually get to hug and not worry about stuff, and you're at a Starbucks, guess what? 2-on-1s by day, PBRs or PBZs at night. When we get to all see each other, right now it's this is what I do. I do 2-on-1s during the day over, private business Zoom or Zoom business meetings, however you want to call it. And then at night we have bigger group ones. That's the way that I like to do it. Follow the system of the leaders, but that's what I like to do because it duplicates out, right? But here's what I know. If that duplicates out and the people now see this happening, there's only one way to really duplicate, and that's the buddy system. So what does the buddy system look like? I'm new in the business, and I'm signing up, and I know that I want to share this with my friends, Ken and Susie Potter. And we're in this whole Corona craziness, and I want Ken and Susie to see what it is that we're doing. I've piqued their interest, and my leader is Melissa and Jeff Street. And so here's how that would work. I'm the new person. They're my prospect. They're my friends that I want them to look at this. And my leader is the streets. Well, what I would do is the streets would not only have me invite them on, but they're going to have someone on their team watch them do the presentation. They're going to have someone on their team watch what they're doing so that can duplicate out. So guess what? I get started. I have a little team building, right? And now I'm going to have one of my team members, I'm going to have Susie and Ken watch a presentation that Melissa's doing for me. So what's happening? Melissa's still presenting for me, but Ken and Susie are watching the presentation. They're learning. This is the most valuable thing. They're hearing Melissa go through the questions and answers. They're getting educated while the business is being built. I try never to do anything alone. It's a missed opportunity to show someone and teach someone how to engage, how to interact, and especially over Zoom right now, you guys. So if you guys don't implement some version of the buddy system, which I'm sure that you do, I would definitely tell you it's super valuable. That's what creates duplication in our business. Last couple things to share with you guys. Obviously, look, we know that this is a new day for us. This is a new deal. This whole thing is a new deal, right? So you got to get good at some stuff. You got to look, if you don't know how to start a Zoom meeting, learn it. I'm not going to teach it, but learn it. If you don't know how to get PowerPoint and share your screen and do all that stuff, that if a broke bartender can do it, you guys can do it. I'm telling you, learn it. See, when you guys get confidence in the tools and the things that are readily available for you, I'm telling you that confidence, people can see it. They can feel you. They know that you're going somewhere, and then fear of loss kicks in. They're afraid not to follow you because you're on your game. You got something going on. I mean, you guys, how many of us have had some version of this in our ACN career where somebody goes, well, I don't really understand it, but I think I want to do it. It's because of how they feel. It's because of how you made them feel that they have a chance to win at this, right? And by the way, you guys, learn the comp plan. ACNcompass.com. I'm sure you guys do comp plan trainings. I'm confident of it. But you guys, the more you know, part-time, overtime, that knowledge breeds confidence. And when somebody is maybe kind of rotten applish or they're not really interested, you almost feel bad for them because you feel like you know something they don't know and that you see something they don't see. Right? It's like anything in life. You guys, you're going to be bad. And by the way, please accept this process. You're going to be bad before you're good, good before you're great, great before you're excellent, and excellent before you're proficient. By the way, that's in anything. Okay, I'll give you an example because I want you guys to get this. So you can give this to your new people. It's okay to go through that process. You have to. Do you guys remember, for some of you, it'll be very recently, and for some of you, it's going to be a long time ago. Do you, Poppy said every master was once a disaster. Exactly. So check this out. That's like Poppy, love her. Anyway, so check this out, you guys. Think about this and relate this to ACN. Do you guys remember, do you remember your first time driving? Remember your first time behind the wheel? Okay, let's be honest here. Every single one of us, first time behind the wheel, it was like this. It was 10 and 2, going probably 5 miles an hour under the speed limit, and seatbelt, right? By the way, who's done this? When you're new and you see a police car somewhere on the road, you try to find a way to turn down the radio. By the way, they can't hear your radio, but you do, right? They're freaking out, because it's nerve-wracking. When you're new, it's nerve wracking. Anybody who ever learned, I learned how to drive on a manual clutch that you right? You try taking a manual on a hill at a stoplight and it was a disaster, right? But here's what happens. You get better over time. How do you drive now? I already know how you drive. You shouldn't, but I know how you drive. Radio on, Bluetooth in, phone in one hand, coffee on the other, steering with your knee. I already know it, right? Why? Because you've done it. Lainey is saying that that's how she drives. Anyway, my point is that why? Why can you do that? Because you have the skills and the time, right? So you just have to give yourself the time and you have to give yourself the opportunity to get this. Right? Jeff and Melissa were not birthed as RVP Platinums. The only difference between them and you is they had more people flake on them than you've had. They've had more people not show up. They've had more people tell them it's one of those things. They've had more, and they were just willing to go through it because their reason why was big enough. Right behind them, Ken and Susie. Why? They've just been through, you have gone through more ups and downs than the new person on your team. And I'm not going to get into a whole roller coaster thing. You guys get the roller coaster, but I will tell you this, consistency equals credibility. Consistency equals credibility. If you are consistent, you are credible, right? If you are consistent, you are credible. I tell everyone that's new on my team, be here in a year. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Awesome. Be here in a year. Be here in a year. That's a big step. Right? And that just doesn't mean that your position is active. It actually means plugging in, right? You know, you can turn a light on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off all day long. If it's not plugged in, it doesn't matter. So it's by the way, so wasted effort is what it is because it's not plugged in. So you guys know when you are watching a movie and you want popcorn, it's 3 minutes. It's 3 minutes to right? Isn't that like microwave popcorn? You put it in for 3 minutes, you put it on high and good to go, right? It's 3 minutes. Well, here's how people do ACN. And it's crazy to me. They're hungry. The opportunities, the popcorn, they're hungry. They want the, okay, great. Let me read the directions. Well, Jeff and Melissa, the Potter said it was 3 minutes. Okay, so they put it in for 3 minutes, right? They put it in for 3 minutes, but because you don't have the patience or the new person doesn't have the patience, what happens? They pull the popcorn out at 1.5 minutes. Let me ask you a question. How many kernels have popped? None. Like, this is baloney. This thing doesn't work. I have no popcorn here. This doesn't work. And by the way, is the bag hot? The bag's hot. So now you've burned your hand. That's painful. None of them's popped. This doesn't work. ACN doesn't work. I'm not having any popcorn. This sucks. Let me go back and read. Oh, they said it'll go 3 minutes at high. Oh, God. All right, I'm going to wait for this. Okay, better that. And they put it in for 3 minutes. And they stop it at 2 minutes and 15 seconds because you're impatient, right? And at 2 minutes and 15 seconds, guess how many kernels have popped? 0. No kernels have popped. The bag has burned your hand again. Now, not only does it hurt, now you're getting kind of angry. So you go back, read what the coach said to do. Put it in for how long? 3 minutes on high. Don't touch it. And this time, guess what you do? For some of us, despite ourselves, in spite of how genius we all are, we actually follow the little printed directions on the bag. And guess what happens? A minute goes by, nothing. And you're like this. I knew it. I knew it, honey. 2 minutes goes by, no kernels. 2 minutes and 15 seconds, no kernels have popped. 2:30, 2:40, 2:45, it's like an explosion in the bag, and 3 minutes, there you go. And there, by the way, who would like it if your ACN business and team grew like that? Who would like it if 3 minutes from now you had IBOs exploding in your organization and you don't even know all of them? Would that be awesome? That's how this works. Those little directions on the bag are your leaders and the system that your senior vice presidents and now platinum and regional vice presidents have designed for you guys to succeed. But because of people's impatience, guess what happens? They don't read the instructions. They think this doesn't work. They don't follow the system. But the people that do, watch what happens. Watch what happens for this group. Watch what happens for you guys. Just remember, when I see it a national, just like this, microwave popcorn thing. Yeah, that's it. I got it. Now you're on the right. You are on the path to RVP. You are on the path to regional director. You are on the path to senior vice president. By the way, I'm on that path too. I'm not there. I'm working towards a position that Jeff and Melissa are at. We're all in this thing together. We're all in this thing together. It's all good. So a couple last thoughts. So I promised I would tell you guys about the world opening up, right? So here's my take on it. I'm just one guy in Burbank, California, but here's what I would tell you. As the world is opening up, here's what's going to happen in my opinion, okay? The people that were working 40 hours a week are going to get 20. The people that were working 70 hours a week are going to get 30. It is not going to go back the same way, right? Unemployment is going to run through its cycle. The checks from the government, the assistance, that's done. Okay, so here's what I think is going to happen. We are all in a very good position to really impact some people because you're going to start having access to people because life is going to start taking some sense of normalcy again. Restaurants are going to open, places are going to open. You're going to actually see people, right? So here's my only question for you. Are you going to be ready when the opportunity presents itself? Are you going to be ready as the world is opening up, are you going to have the tools at your fingertips to say the little thing that you need to say to be able to create a little bit of curiosity for someone to come see what you're doing that could impact their family's life? That's up to you. You can practice it. Here's what I know. Fortunes are not made from 9 to 5. Fortunes are made from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. After somebody has their work day, they come home. 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. is where fortunes are made. When everybody's Netflix and you're doing another hour of training and you're making that one extra phone call, that makes all the difference in the world. At least it has for me. So are you going to be ready when the world opens up? And the last thing I'll tell you is this, you guys, just don't be afraid to call your shot. I talked with the Potters about this at their house. Call your shot. Call your shot on this thing. I'm going to be by. I'm going to have this many points by. Call your shot. There is so much strength in confident expectation. I will look, Melissa, Jeff, get ready because I'm telling you, I'm saying it once. Don't be that talker and not a doer. Be a doer and not a talker, but you got to stake your claim. And you're allowed to say, look, I will be a buy. I will be at this many customer points by. And guess what you have now? I promise this would all come full circle. Now you have a goal that you have a system with leaders who are impeccable at building a business. So give them a chance to work with you. Meet them halfway. Watch what happens. You don't have to do everything. Meet them halfway. Have a really big goal and go after it. By just doing that, you have separated yourself from the masses, in my opinion. But that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope it was helpful. I don't even know how we did on time. If we were way over, way under, well, we're definitely not under. Melissa, Potters, I don't know if Jeff made it on, but I'll certainly turn it back over to you or anything that I can do from this point forward. I'm certainly happy to do it. I tried to say everybody's name. I couldn't say everybody's name. We'll be on here for a while.
Well, thank you so much.